Alright guys, James here with River Lunacy. Today's going to be just a real quick tying video on how I tie these things on. The Trophy Cat Tackle Kitty Calls. It's the one that I prefer to use. It's my favorite. I like the green one, especially when it's cold out, just so you know. I do catch them on the shad one also. They all work. I catch a lot of flatheads on the orange ones. Anyway, so I pull off about 2.5 to 3 foot of leader line. I prefer an 80-pound test leader line. You can use a heavy mono if you like. You can use whatever you want on that. I'll just say that much. I like 80 because I feel like it gives me a little longer, and also the thing about 80 is it's not as flimsy. It's not going to twist and flop as easy as, say, like 20 or 30. So I'm using circle hooks. That's my kind of hook that I like to use. Again, if you want a regular shank hook or whatever you want, use it. I like a circle hook. Right now, I'm going up to the 9/0 Trophy Cat Tackle circle hook. It's called the Switchback, I believe, online. And I'll run that right back to that turn. And I'll grab that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a snell. The one I use is also called the knotless knot. So from the front of the eye straight back to that turn. It doesn't have to go all the way to it, but right there to it, pretty close. I like to go around a little extra compared to what most people do, but so I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Most people do 7. I do 8. I push them up as I'm pulling this line down. I want that to be nice and tight. Now when I ran them all down there, they're not on top of each other. They're layered. And then I go around 1, 2 over top of them spins. Take my line, the other end, I go through the back of the hook eye towards me. Pull it tight. Never had one come undone, ever. Never, ever. I've had the lines break, never had one of these knots come undone though. There's that part. Your favorite kitty call of choice, fluke, demon dragon, whatever you're using. I tie it on to the head. The head goes towards the hook. You don't have to. That's the way I do it. The reason being is most fish eat their prey head first. They look at the eyes, they go for that. Plus, and I learned this a long time ago from throwing spoons for blue cats, is we flip the hooks. We flip our hook and put it on the top, vice versa, because it makes it more aerodynamic for casting. So the other reason why is most of these have a fatter head, and it's going to do better when you're casting. Your fatter part is going to want to always go first. Catch my drift? So some people do them all kinds of ways. This is just the way I like to do it. It's the most simple way that I come up with, and I have a few reasons. I'll explain that a little bit more at the end. So on that first eye at the head, I tie my knot there. All right, I do a real simple knot. I don't want it to be a big old wild knot, just a, I guess is called the improved clinch. So I don't even do the whole thing. I'll just do like 5 wraps, maybe even 4. So I went 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, we got it. Take that line, go through the hole. Go through the hole up by the eye. And then run it back through. big knot that you just made, the big hole. And then I just cinch that down, get it wet, give it a couple pulls. Don't pull it too hard because you don't want to kink it all up. I'm going to show you one of the other reasons why I use this simple knot, and I do it right here. Just for people that understand these things, notice you start cutting all these things off and you got all these extra tag lines everywhere, and what happens is your other line will loop around and grab all these tag lines. You got tag lines everywhere, it just loops it up. This is a tagless, you know what I mean? All right, so here's the other trick. That tag line is going to come out on one side, and it's going to be close to that eye. On that same side, I take it, and that's when I start running through that middle eye on your kitty call right there. All right, because why would I want to flip it all the way around? Then I got an extra bend in my line. See what I mean? Okay, so I went through this side, same side the tag line came out, I went back through on the middle eye. Then I'm reversing it right back through the end by the tail. All right, and then on the end I take my big old swivel, and I like to use a heavy swivel, not a gigantic swivel, just like a 200-pound test or more. I think this is a 250, something like that. And the reason why I use them that big is just because of this heavy line. When you go to tie knots on it, they don't tie real good with the little bitty swivel. A little swivel will work, just makes it more difficult. This knot here is just a simple polymer. So I go in one, back through the same hole, give myself a little bit of line there, grab it on both sides, give it one knot. Without pulling it too hard, I cinch it a little bit, flip the swivel back through the same hole as the knot that you just made. I give it a little bit of saliva. You can use whatever you like there. It just works good with the 80-pound test. Sometimes they still want to give you a little bit of trouble, so sometimes you pull that one and it helps to cinch it down. So get that nice and tight. I clip that nice and close. Then it's no big deal. You know, you can just run your sinker of choice. I choose a 5-ounce bank sinker is what I like on my main line. You'll just tie your main line there. Of course, put your sinker on and your sinker slide if that's what you want to use. There's really no need for a bunch of extra stuff. I don't like, honestly, I don't really like the peg floats with all the bells and whistles attached to it. The more junk I seem to have on my line, the more snagged up I get, the more the current hits it and gets it in the rocks, and the more say I start putting all these rattles on here, you know, that spin and this and that on all these peg floats, then you got this stuff that's going all over the place because the current's hitting it, and it just gets them all twisted up. I've noticed. That's my luck. Maybe not yours. That's okay. All right, guys, all done. One improved clinch knot on that end, no knot on that end, straight through. It runs that line right on down, and that's a direct hit. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was useful to you. Please think about hitting that subscribe button. Like, comment all you want. Thanks again.